Welcome everyone to today's session of Getting to Know the Syllabus, Speech and Drama 2020 digital as well as face-to-face exams. Today we're going to look at the 4th and 5th grade, which fall under the intermediate level of the Trinity scheme of things, and also at level 2 on the RQF. RQF, like most of you may be knowing, is a regulated qualification framework, which is a kind of a meter that measures the education of a person in the UK. I'll show you quickly what we are going to be doing today. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of improvisational drama and having some fun as usual. We will also be looking at some learning outcomes, some assessment criteria, and the attainment descriptors. The life skills, while you're preparing for these exams, are so many, but we will be touching about one or two maybe. And finally, of course, last but not the least, we would be looking at grade 4 and grade 5 tasks, as well as some sample material. Now, unfortunately, last time, we had to look under the hood rather quickly because we had too many grades to cover, right from grade initial to grade 3. But this time around, we are going to do it at a slow pace, and I hope to spend some quality time with all these aspects, right? So shall we move on? Improvisational drama. Now, the minute the word improvisational crops up, most of us, I think, visualize the very famous American TV show that was aired sometime in I think the late 90s called Whose Line Is It Anyway? Well, yes, that was pure raw improvisational drama. The performer would be given a stimuli that is completely unknown to him. In the Trinity speech and drama exams, we do something similar, yet something different. Similar because the candidate has to still think very quickly and nothing is scripted. Different because the candidate is expected to improvise on the material that he has already prepared. Therefore, we say that it is different in some ways and similar in others. Improvisational drama is becoming very popular among comedians. Now, I think the younger generation absolutely love it. So we will be doing a little bit of improvisational games actually. And these games are a great tool for teaching candidates to appear for the speech and drama exam. Like last time, again, I have my team with me who are going to help me through. So let's meet them. Ritika Ratna from Delhi. Can we see Ritika, please? Okay. Why can't we? Yes, we can see Ritika. Okay, great. Can we see Reshma, please? Reshma from Cochin. Hi, Reshma. And we've got Nisha from Mumbai. Hi. Okay, so I hope all of you can see them. Right? Okay, so we're going to play this improv game. I'm going to be putting you in two teams. It's team A and team B. Each team has got two participants, one actor and the other one is a speaker, right? The actor of the team, of each team, would have to go voiceless because that is what the game is called. The actor would have to go voiceless and the speaker would have to take off their camera and we should be able to hear them. You get it? So the actor and the speaker, the actor would go voiceless, whereas the speaker would take off the camera. So we can only hear them. All right? You get that? Now the actor has to tell us, and obviously we can't hear you, your partner cannot hear you, but you have to tell us something about probably what you did today, any incident that happened, anything at all. Now, the condition being that you have to be animated. After all, this is drama. So you have to be as animated as possible, use a lot of gestures, use your expression, enunciate so that your partner can read what you're trying to say, and your partner is actually going to put words in your mouth, right? So can we pair up? Now, if this was a regular class, I wouldn't be pairing you up. Okay, but because we are on this forum, I'm going to pair you up for this one. So we've got the actor in team A is going to be Ritika, and the speaker is going to be Reshma. So we've got Reshma and Ritika in one team, Nisha and me in the other team. Okay, and we're all going to try our hand at it. What say? Are you ready? Any questions, ladies? None? Good to go?
Good to go.
Okay, so Ritika, you're the actor and Reshma is the speaker. So you can go voiceless, Ritika.
So Chanda, just to understand it, I switch off my video now, right?
No, you would switch off your mute your audio. You mute your audio and Reshma would take off her video. So she's going to be speaking for you.
Okay.
And what? Are you hitting me? What are you doing? What? Why are you showing me all your muscles? You're throwing a ball at me. You become so strong. Oh my God. Stop, stop, stop. Ritika, I'm going to get hurt. Oh my God, it's come on my face, Ritika. What have you done? Yes, I'm injured. My nose, Ritika, my nose.
Okay, that was nice. Reshma, can I see if your nose is intact? Okay, that's lovely. Okay, so let us try Nisha and me. So in our case, Nisha, I'll be the actor and you will be the speaker.
All right, so I turn my video off.
Yes, and I go voice mute. Are we ready?
Yes, right. Wow. Ooh, what a beautiful morning. Love the weather. What on earth is this? Hey, move away, you. Oh my God, I need to do something about this. Go. Yay. Let me close the windows. Oh, I'm exhausted and tired.
Yes, Nisha. That's good, I think. We make a good team.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so actually I've got 3 games planned for today, but we're going to stick to 2 and try to play one more if possible, if time permits much later. The second game is called Object Talking. Okay, just like the name suggests, the object is going to talk. So we are going to switch partners.
Chanda, one moment. A lot of people are popping up with messages that they can't see us.
Zoom allows
So just to let you know, I can see, so you need to change your view to gallery and not speaker. And that will be made a little easier because Chanda stopped sharing. So you should be able to see 5 different windows on your main screen right now. If not, and you're using a mobile, then unfortunately you may not have gallery view. I can understand that. In which case, the speaker who is speaking automatically gets spotlit. But this is a game where actually one of them is not speaking and is actually visual, and which is why that's not triggering the camera action on them. So we'll have to improv on the improv game.
Yeah, and you'd have to just imagine, I think, rest is left to your imagination. Right, so shall we go ahead with the second game?
Yes, sure.
They're still saying they can't see anything. There's no gallery view. There's a lot of messages coming in.
The gallery view is usually on the right-hand side at the top.
The top right-hand corner, it should be there. Because we've not disabled any views. We enable you to see everything.
Maybe they could do full screen and they'd be able to see us.
Someone says that the main connection, the person who's hosting it may have the controls.
So let me just do one thing to be safe. I'm going to spotlight all of you. So it'll be easier, perhaps. Okay. So I'm adding spotlights on all. Yeah, that should be good, everybody.
No, but I can't see anyone right now.
Don't worry, you're directing.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move on to the second game. I'm so sorry if you cannot see, but yes, we're going to try our best to use our voice. Okay, wonderful. So the second game, like I said, is called Talking Objects. We are going to switch partners over here. So in this game, Team A would have Ritika and Nisha. Team B has me and Reshma. As the name suggests, the object is going to talk. So the speaker, the object, or rather the person who's doing the object would have to just reach out and pick up any object that is close to you. All right. And move away. For example, if it's this, you move away from the screen and it's only the object that can be seen. All right. And the person who is speaking is going to speak for the object. So you're going to put life into that object and talk for the, like, you know, probably an autobiography. Okay. So you will have to speak for the object. Yes, is that clear? Ritika and Reshma and Nisha. Okay, I assume it is.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, lovely.
Yes.
So let's start with Team A, Nisha and Ritika, where the speaker this time would be Ritika and the object would be Nisha. So pick up an object, better be interesting, and move away from the screen so we can just see the object. You need to
grab a treat that I had with me.
Christmas is here.
That's tempting. Yeah, come on.
Okay, so on cue, on the count of 3, 2, 1, go.
Stop it, stop. Oh my God, that's my tummy. I know I put on, oh, stop that. Stop pulling me. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, my hair, my hair, my, don't please. Oh, that's really hurting. Stop, stop, stop. Oh my God. What are you doing? Oh, no, 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 not my arm, not my, ouch, that was my arm. You just,
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ritika. That was very dramatic indeed. Okay, so we're moving on to the next pair. That is me and Reshma. Reshma, this time round, you be the object and I'll speak. Is that okay, Reshma? You there? But I can't see the object.
Yeah. She's there. She has a pair of scissors.
Oh, but I can't see. I can't see her. But anyway, thank you, Nisha. Okay. Oh, yes. I can see the scissors now. All right. Are we there? Okay. Oh, chop, 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 chop. That is all I do all day. Give me a break, guys. I'm chopping, chopping, chopping. Can't you give me something better to do? Come on. I'm sure there is some more goal in life than just chopping. And look at my handle. Black? Really? Who would make a black handle? At least give me something pretty. I should have been a red pair of scissors or maybe a blue. Is that what you think I am? Wait, now I'm going to chop you. Chop, 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 chop. Okay. Thank you, Reshma. That was lovely. Thank you. Wonderful. And I'm going to go speaker view now and share my screen. Okay, great. Thank you, all of you. And please hang in there because I might need you again. The other game that we have here is And Then, which is a very popular story building game in Improv. And maybe we'll do that a little later if we have time. Moving on, the Trinity syllabus is constructed of the learning outcomes, the assessment criteria, the tasks, which are most important, the attainment descriptors, and finally, how you can transfer and apply these skills to real life. The objective of the speech and drama syllabus is not to make actors. I repeat, not to make actors out of anybody. It is to make more confident individuals who make wise choices and who are ready for the 21st century skills. So the speech and drama syllabus is pretty much this. It's got the learning outcomes, you've got the assessment criteria, and we've got the attainment descriptors. Like I said, this time round, we're going to be spending some more time on each of these. So what are assessment criteria? Quite simply put, assessment criteria for the speech and drama syllabus consists of just 4 criteria. The first one is technical skills, which consists of how to use your body, your voice, and the space. Engagement with the material is nothing but has the candidate been able to understand, choose wisely, adopt, and own the syllabus that he has chosen, or someone else has chosen it for him. Communication with the audience is as simple as, has the candidate been able to break that fourth wall and make the connection with the audience, the wall that normally comes between the actor or the performer and the audience. And finally, of course, last but not the least, is the performance. So moving on. The assessment criteria between 4 and 5 is not very different, as you can see. They're all in green, except for maybe 1 or 2 places. Like, for example, let's take the second one, where added to the variation in pace, pitch, volume to communicate meaning, the candidate in grade 5 would also have to understand or demonstrate a variation in rhythm. Now, you may ask, what is rhythm? We will talk about that in one of the tasks a little later. Of course, when they also have to deal with unseen material like the picture or the story created from words, or the reading, inventing a story, they would also have to do it with a little extra creativity. Okay, so that is what is expected from grade 5. Otherwise, they are more or less similar. The attainment descriptors is very evident from this chart. Candidates getting below 65 would be standing on the below pass mark. 65 to 75 would be getting a pass, 75 to 84 on merit, and finally, of course, 85 plus would be eligible for a distinction. Just explaining the attainment descriptors in detail. Candidates who lack audibility, clarity, accuracy, and they show very little evidence of preparation. Candidates who have a very limited range of vocal and physical skills. They struggle to sight read. So when they see an unseen passage, they struggle to sight read. They have very limited awareness of the audience, which means that they would either not be making any eye contact, or they would probably show their back to the audience. And also they have a very limited ability to reflect with understanding. If a candidate who's asked a question about his own material is totally blank and knows nothing about it, would fall under the below pass or 64 and below category. A candidate who's audible, clear, accurate, has fluency some of the time, who shows range of vocal and physical skills, again, some of the time, who has some confidence and fluency some of the time, and also has a reasonable understanding. So he's able to explain what the material is all about, but if there is any other question asked, maybe he's not able to answer. So 65 to 74, that is pass, would be awarded to this child. Now, when a candidate is audible, clear, accurate, and fluent most of the time, has a variety of vocal and physical skills, has clear choices of interpretation, very important. Is he able to interpret correctly? Is also confident in sight reading and inventing a story, is spontaneous, and has a good understanding of the material, this child or this candidate would stand on the merit band. And finally, of course, we've got a candidate who is audible, clear, accurate, right through. He has a very expressive use of integrated vocal and physical skills, has very imaginative choice of interpretation, is able to very comfortably sight read or invent a story and speak very confidently and fluently, and also is able to engage. Remember, we spoke about breaking the fourth wall. Okay, so this is where it really comes in. So if he's able to engage spontaneously with the audience right through and has a very secure understanding of the material, this child or this candidate would then be eligible for a distinction. Grade 5 and 4 are again more or less similar in the attainment descriptors, right? So moving on. Now the life skills that are achieved by, in the process of learning or preparing for this exam are so many that I think we would have to spend an entire session talking about this and more. So just for today's session, I've chosen maybe 1 or 2 life skills. Organizational skills. Now, what is organizational skills? It's the ability to organize and be methodical, to be able to plan and work towards deadlines and targets. How does the exam help you to do that? Now, in a Trinity speech and drama exam, the candidate is expected to organize, first of all, the material, the thoughts, and also the hard copy of the material that he is choosing and present it to the examiner. So there is a lot of responsibility that has been laid on the candidate. In grade 4, the teacher will not do all the organizing, or rather should not be doing all the organizing and leaving it to the candidate to do it. Okay, so organizational skill, of course, all are important, but for me, I think that is a very big takeaway from these exams. Apart from the specific life skills, there are so many others. Okay, the other life skills that may not be the primary ones, but of course, very, very important. One such skill is dealing with failure. Now, in drama / theater / the speech and drama exams, failure is very likely to happen because it is a one-take performance. You're not given a chance to repeat yourself. So failure is likely to happen. These exams teach the children or teach the candidate to accept this failure and, prepare for the next session where they could be better. I'm sure as parents and teachers, you all agree with me that today, children need to be taught this very important life skill, that they need to fight the failure and not crumble under pressure, right? Okay. Earlier, we spoke briefly about the RQF and I told you what exactly it was. Now, speech and drama exam, grades 1 to 3, which we discussed last time, fall under the RQF level 1. Grade 4 and 5, what we are doing today, fall under RQF level 2. Like I said earlier, this is a kind of measure or a yardstick in the UK for measuring the education any candidate is taking, right? Okay. Now, all the regulated framework or qualification that we have, they all have a stipulated duration of study. Let me just explain this to you. A TQT, a total qualification time, is the sum of the guided learning hours, the number of hours that the teacher is helping the candidate with, and the independent learning hours, which means the number of hours a candidate is putting in himself or herself to learn the material. The sum of these two makes up the total qualification time. Now, I'd like to add here that these are all indicated number of hours. It could change depending on the level of the child and the capability of the candidate. Okay, it could very well change. But teachers, I mean, very often I get teachers who come up to me and say, how long is this course going to last for? Or rather, how long am I going to teach the child? How much time does it need? Now, this should be very helpful for that. And I think a teacher can take a weighted call on whether she wants to give more or less time to the candidate to prepare them, right? In grade 4, as you can see, guided learning hours would be 24, 106 number of hours of independent learning, and 130 total number of hours. And grade 5, 24, slightly higher independent learning hours because the material is slightly more complex. And then finally, you've got the total qualification time, which is 150 hours. Let's talk about the exams. Okay. So the exams are very simply structured, just like the grade initial 1, 2, and 3. They're split into performance, supporting tasks, and the reflection task. The performance pieces having the maximum weightage in terms of marks as well as time taken, the supporting task, which will be provided, and also the reflection task, which is based on the performance pieces, right? And they're all out of 100. So with that, we come to the tasks of grade 4. Grade 4 is for 16 minutes. In which the candidate has to choose or perform any 3 pieces chosen from the following list. And this has to be done from memory. It's either an extract from a play, a passage of prose, a poem, or a passage of reportage. Now you'll see 2 notes at the bottom. It says at least 2 of the 3 pieces should be different in form. For example, if you're choosing a poem, you could go with a prose extract because they are different in form, okay? If you choose a prose and a reportage, they may sound the same, okay? So the form should be different, the genre may be different, anything. There should be something completely different about what you're choosing. And finally, of course, you've got the next note saying 1 piece should be written in a colloquial style. Now, by colloquial style over here, we mean the language is slightly informal. You could be using, I wouldn't say slang, but informal language like what children do today, gonna, wanna. Okay, so all that should be used. In fact, one of them should be informal and you can use informal language. The key skills would be tested by 2 tasks and the candidate has to choose any one. Reading at sight a passage of prose or inventing a story using 4 specific words. And finally, you would have the reflection task where the candidate is expected to give impromptu responses to the content, meaning, mood, and context. Now, I want you to note here how variations in phrasing and pace contributed to the performance. And we'll see what is added in grade 5. Along with this, they would be expected to do something else. We'll come to that when we come to it. So shall we start with the tasks? Now, the first task that I have here, or rather I've chosen, is an extract from a play, Burying Your Brother in the Pavement by Jack Thorne. And I thought I'll give it a shot myself. So the play Burying Your Brother in the Pavement by Jack Thorne is a very heartfelt play. It's actually a play of grief where the protagonist, Tom, has lost his brother, Luke, who has been unfortunately murdered on the pavement. This little piece is when Tom, who is older now, is reminiscing about what had happened to them when they were children. So there you go. I still remember the first time I knew he didn't want me around. The year I skipped was year 4. I moved up from the end of year 3 to the beginning of year 5. Anyway, so I was brought into class like I was a new kid, though they all knew me because I was Luke's brother from the year below. And then the teacher asked, do you want to sit by your brother, Tom? And Luke was sitting by someone else, Ben or someone, and he shot me this look, half a smile, and half a nod, and half a please don't sit by me, please don't sit by me. And then he looked away and never looked back. And it sounds stupid now, but when you're 9, I mean, that was one of the first times I'd figured out that not everyone would like me. You know how you think that? When you're a kid, you think everyone likes me. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? I'm great. And then you get older and you realize no one likes me. Of course they don't. And why would they? I'm horrible. Anyway, Luke, that look in Luke's eyes. And then looking away, I knew he'd hate to sit by me. So I sat in the spare seat beside Martin. You see, my brother was probably the nicest guy anyone knew. If you'd known him, you'd have thought the same. I mean, everyone thought he was nice. And everyone would say it. Nice Luke. Not that he was that nice. Just everyone thought he was. Me? I knew him as he really was. Okay. That brings us to the end of the extract from the play. Now, typical questions from this would be probably, why did you choose this extract? Now, for me, it was very personal because it reminded me of my own sibling rivalry with my sister, which didn't last for very long. We grew up and we realized that we are not rivals. So yes, that could be one of the reasons, one of the questions. There could be other questions like what happened before this extract and what happened after. So which means a candidate has to do a thorough study of the entire play. And it's a very beautiful play. I recommend that you all read it. Moving on, we've got the next piece. And for this, I have my colleague with me, Nisha. Nisha, can you come online, please?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, great. Yes, Nisha. So over to you. You're going to read this prose passage and then I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Sure. We pause at the edge of the trees and squint down into the next valley. My glasses are smudged. I take them and polish them on my shirt. Zelda gives a terrified squeak and grabs me and points. I put my glasses back on and peer down at what she's seen. Zelda isn't pointing at a distant house belonging to a kind cook, because there aren't any houses. She's pointing at something much closer, a big hole in the hillside, a sort of pit with piles of freshly dug earth next to it. Lying in the hole, tangled up together, are children, lots of them, all different ages, some older than me, some even younger than Zelda. What are these children doing? Says Zelda in a worried voice. I don't know. I say, I'm feeling worried too. They look like Jewish children. I can tell. because they're all wearing white armbands with a big blue blob that I'm pretty sure is a Jewish star. Trembling, I give my glasses another clean. This wasn't in your story, whispers Zelda. She's right. It wasn't. The children aren't moving. They're dead. That's a bad thing with stories. Sometimes they don't come true. And sometimes what happens instead is even worse than you can imagine.
Lovely, Nisha. Thank you so much. I know the passage is way longer, but I had to stop you there. Okay, so Nisha, can you tell us from your passage, what was the dramatic moment in this piece, that little bit that you read?
Definitely the dead children in the pit.
Okay,
Noticing the dead children in the pit.
was it
That,
dramatic?
yes.
Right. And how did you use your voice? Because you can't really use much of your physical self in this state, but how did you use your voice to explain that to the audience?
Um, okay. I'm not sure if it was very apparent, but I kind of gulped when I talked about dead,
Okay.
and I kind of tried to emphasize dead and show a little bit of dejection and fear in my voice. I
Wonderful. Yeah, I
tried
think you
that.
did that very well. You did that well. Thank you so much, Nisha.
Thank you.
That was great. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the next piece. For grade 4, we've got a passage of reportage. Now, we've chosen this for our friend Ritika Ratna. Yes, Ritika, can we see you, please?
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Ritika.
You can see me?
So, are
Sorry.
you
Can you
ready
see
to
me?
play? Yes, I can. And are you ready to play reporter?
I've played House, but I don't know about reporter.
Okay, and which TV are you working for? May I know? Which channel?
I think I am working for Vice World News.
Yes, bingo, you got that.
Yeah? Cool.
Okay, so let's start.
Okay. So I have my mic with me.
Okay,
Okay. Cool.
talk about improv.
I know. Since I have my glasses, I just thought it would kind of
Yeah.
work. Okay. So I've told you who I work for. All right. Hundreds of fishermen, women, and children in the East Godavari district of the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh spent the weekend combing through the local beach for gold. In the aftermath of the cyclone, Nivar, a superstorm that killed 5 people, uprooted trees, and flooding buildings, a local fisherman reportedly found tiny gold beads lying all over the beach. Despite heavy winds and rainfall, hundreds of locals flocked to the beach with umbrellas and seeds to filter through the sand. The Deccan Plateau in South India, which includes states like Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, is one of the world's oldest land masses. It is here that historically most of India's gems and jewels have been found. Andhra Pradesh Director General of Police Gautam Sawang told Vice World News. Sawang explained that many of the small jewels wash into the fields from the Golconda mines of Andhra Pradesh, where they may not have been sieved properly. Locals, however, believe that these gold beads were the remnants of lost temples that were submerged under the sea, which washed up on the shore following the cyclone.
Okay, lovely. Good, Ritika. That was brilliant. Okay, I'd just like to inform our viewers that Ritika has just seen this piece, and I'm sure she would do much, much better if she had known this piece earlier, right? And make it sound like a real, the reports that we see on TV, right? Okay, Ritika, just tell us, what are the skills that you worked on while you were preparing for this exam?
Well, if I were to prepare for this particular exam, Chanda,
Yeah.
I definitely have to do a little bit of background, check
Right.
on the kind of news reports that people read, And
Right.
depending on the kind of setting you are in, the kind of situation you are in, what is the kind of piece that you are reporting.
Right.
So I would honestly say things like a little bit of compassion, perhaps also in your
Mhm.
voice. You've got to kind of modulate your voice,
Right.
use your body language a little bit. So in case
Right.
I'm pointing and showing something, I must
Right.
be able to kind of move and point to the area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think
So
these are the little things that one
okay,
would need
so
to
so what
prepare.
you're saying is that if a student were to do this, they
Hmm.
would have to observe news reporters and
I
news readers,
I would think so. Yes, I would think so.
and
Yes.
probably there's a marked difference between a news reader and a news reporter. A reader
Oh
would
yes, of
have,
course.
yeah, a very straight and a very neutral voice, whereas a reporter would
Correct.
have a dramatic. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's why
And
drama.
right. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, Ritika. That was
Thanks.
brilliant. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Chandra.
much for
Thank
your
you.
help. Okay. So moving on to the next. Uh, okay. We come to an end. Oh, yeah. Of grade 4. We're looking now at the tasks of grade 5. In grade 5, the candidate performs 3 of the following from memory: an extract from a play, a passage of prose containing direct speech. Now, this is different from what they did in grade 4. A poem and a speech or a passage from a speech given by a significant real life figure. This again is different from what they did in grade 4. The time taken, let me tell you, is 18 minutes this time. The key skills would be tested on reading a passage again, and this time the story would have to be created from 5 specific words because it's grade 5. And the candidate would have to give an impromptu response to set questions. This time round, added to the content, meaning, mood, and context, they also should be able to show or tell how vocal techniques. And so there it was just, I'll just go back to that slide. Yeah, so in grade 4, all they had to do was phrasing and pace. They had to talk only about these 2 elements, whereas now they talk about all the vocal elements. Okay, so shall we try someone here? Let me see who we have. Okay, this is a really long passage and I think we'll skip this since we don't have time. Yes, we've just got another 10 minutes. So I'll move on to, okay, the speech given by significant real life figure. Can I ask Dale to do this for me, please? Dale, I know I always throw you in the deep end. Dale, you there with us?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Would you like to give this a shot?
Okay, one second. I'm just trying to find my video.
Okay.
I don't know. I might, for some reason, I can't seem to find myself. Let me just, 1 second.
So this is a very famous speech given by Winston Churchill. We shall fight at the beaches.
Sure, 1 second. All right, okay.
Okay.
1 second. Let me just try and get a spotlight on this. Yep. Okay. Speech given by a significant real. When Napoleon lay at Boulogne for a year with his flat-bottomed boats and his grand army, he was told by someone, "These are bitter weeds in England. There are certainly a great many more of them since the British Expeditionary Force returned. I have, myself, full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best arrangements are made, as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once again able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do. That is the resolve of His Majesty's government, every man of them. That is the will of Parliament and the nation. The British Empire and the French Republic, linked together in their cause and in their need, will defend to the death their native soil, aiding each other like good comrades to the utmost of their strength. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And even if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until, in God's good time, the new world, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old.
Yay, that was good. You did sound like Winston Churchill. Okay, your questions, Dale. So, what do you think was the environment of this piece?
So, when you look at the mood that is cast, it's a do or die attitude. It's one in which this is towards the end of the war, so there's already a lot of loss. It is a give it your all kind of fight. A similar speech was made by a US general who of course used many more expletives to urge his men on, to suggest that if they lost, they weren't men. So it's a high stakes speech. It is to be exceedingly inspirational, yet powerful, yet hopeful and encouraging, yet also setting the tone for things could go either way, but we must still give it our best.
Right. And you did use your voice, obviously, your voice elements to depict all that.
So I think in this particular case, there are a lot of mechanics of communication used over here. You can see the power of 3 is used almost everywhere. There's
Right.
ascending tone of voice that is needed for emphasis. There is a measure of that we need to introduce that sets the tone of have hope, but be real, and give it our best.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dale. That was great. Okay, so as you can see, friends, I mean, from a simple piece like this, a speech, there is so much that they would be learning. They would actually even be looking at history and reading up on what happened before and what happened after. Yeah. Right. We've got another piece. Actually, we'll come back to this later. We've got these 5 words that are picked up from this week's schedule on the speech and drama exam. And this week, or I think it was a sample. Right. And I could have, if I could have Reshma with me, please.
Yes, Chanda.
Yes, Reshma. Hi again.
Hi, you can see me.
Yes, very much. And we've got these 5 words. You have to, of course, invent a story.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Start.
It was a cold and dreary winter day. I was sitting on my table and sipping some hot tea from a beautiful porcelain teapot gifted to me by my mother. It was extremely damp. Everything around me was cold and I was feeling terribly gloomy. As I looked outside the window, I could see carpets and carpets of white and the beautiful snow-capped mountains. But that didn't make me feel better. I could hear some winter birds singing in the distance, trying to tell me that spring will be there soon. I took up that clue. Behind the house, I could hear water trickling from the leaking roof into a bucket. And suddenly, there were snow flurries around me, which looked like diamonds glistening in the dark. I decided to get out of this gloomy mood and decided to take a walk in the nearby forest. I clothed myself with all the warmth that I found around and went out. While walking under a hemlock tree, I suddenly felt a dust of snow fall on my face. And this really uplifted my spirit. I stopped feeling down and miserable. And then I realized that it was all in my mind. I could get through this winter if I changed my mindset and get out of this sorrowful mood. Thank you.
That was lovely, Reshma. Oh, it was so descriptive. You actually took me to snow. I could visualize the whole thing. So a little off the record, Reshma, if since you train students for speech and drama, in an activity like this, where they have to create a story, what are the instructions that you give them?
So I tell them to try to imagine a scenario where they could, try to connect these words. Like, teapot and damp would definitely connect you to something cold.
Right.
So, yes, and I would also tell them that, they could take, snippets of books that they have read,
Right.
and, try to create and imagine a scene.
Okay.
And yeah, definitely with practice, once they start, then, they can get the link one after the other and connect words together.
Okay, and Reshma, do students ask you if these words have to be used in this order or they can be muddled?
Yes, they do ask, and they could be muddled. They don't have to be used in the same order.
Okay, great. And does the story have to have a beginning, middle, or end, or you can just give a small? How does it work?
They should have a beginning, a body, and a conclusion.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much, Reshma.
Great
Great to have you here. Okay, thank you.